Dearest listeners,
Book babes and book bros.
welcome to Book Babble. I'm Rachel,
And I'm Tanya, and we're the WitLitWomen, your hosts for the day.
and today we have Gillian West with us in the hot seat. So, do you want to do a quick introduction for yourself?
Hello, I'm Gillian Eliza West. I am the author of the Infernis Duology, and my newest book, Reckoning, just came out on April 29th.
Well, we are so excited for you, and we're so happy that you're, here with us while you're doing your tour. So
Thank you.
we'll hop right into our 5-minute AMA. Jillian, are you ready to babble?
I'm ready. Ready to
All
go.
right. 5 minutes are on the clock now.
Oh gosh.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, so the Infernis Duology is my love letter to mythology. So it is an enemies to lovers, shadow parents. First book is enemies to lovers, forced proximity, toucher, and the second book is much more about female rage and finding yourself. And yeah.
That sounds like my kind of book. So you mentioned a couple of things that caught my eye and like feminine rage, things
Yeah.
like that. How is mental health representation like how does that play into your book and the feminine rage?
Yeah, it's a huge aspect. So I am a trauma survivor and I do have PTSD. And so I try to make sure that that is represented as accurately and also as compassionately as possible. And so you do see both characters, both main characters, both Ren and Aurelia, working through trauma and healing. And for Aurelia, especially in the second book, it is an exploration of sometimes when you're working through things, you do go too far. And it's like, what happens when you go too far? And then how do you pull yourself back and how do you find yourself again?
That sounds incredible. Sign me up. I'm getting it.
I know I'm like ready to go. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm a therapist, so hearing
Oh,
just that,
amazing.
and yeah, it's so cool that is kind of like part of your story that you've written and part of your story as a person. So it's really cool to see that healing happening in a book. Anyway, before I get on a tangent where I overtake, what's your process for writing?
Oh gosh, it's not very exciting. So I generally like, so if I'm coming up with a brand new book idea, I'll typically, it's a little different now that I'm agented, but before I was agented, it was pretty much like I came up with a book idea. I wrote everything down that I had, that I knew about the book. So just bullet points like this. And then once I had the first line of the book, like the opening line of the book, I know I'm ready to go. And then I write linearly.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm a very fast writer. So I just recently wrote a Raylo fic and it's like 52,000 words and I wrote it in 2 weeks. So,
Wow. That is fast.
yeah.
So speaking of fics, I hear that you're a Dramione fan fiction fan. So what is your experience in your story of being in the most read fan fiction of 2024?
Yeah, it's wild. So I've been in the fandom since 2021, I believe. Um and when I joined TikTok, I was served a lot of content about the auction by Love's Bic 8, which is also Julie Soto. Um I had originally written a different book, a completely different book that was really bad. It was not good. It was my very first book. But I had delusions of grandeur and decided I wanted to try to pitch it. And so while I was querying, I decided to start writing fics because I had this idea for a particular fanfic. And it was a pretty controversial fic. I pretty much wrote that Hermione was a Death Eater and it was quite a thing. It is no longer on AO3. I have removed it because people were selling it for profit. Um,
No.
but that kind of jump started me, and I think my most popular fan fictions are probably In Silence and Submission, and then my most popular fic is The Gallows. And it's an interesting time. I will say I no longer write for that fandom. I love it very much, and am grateful for everything that it has provided, but. Um, I experienced a lot of wild things, especially during the gallows, and then with everything going on with J.K. Rowling, I just don't feel comfortable anymore, like continuing to write in that fandom. Um, but I still appreciate it and love it so much, and appreciate what it has given me, and the stories that I've written from it.
Yes, I'm gonna have to go find what you have left of this to kind of poke my
Yeah,
fun
they're
in.
all up there. It's just important to remember that fan fiction is a gift, so never purchase fan
Right.
fiction. Don't review it, don't put it on Goodreads. Treat it like you would if a friend gave you a birthday gift. So treat it mindfully and be aware of how you interact in the fandom space.
Love that. Yes.
I just want to take everything you've said and like highlight it today. This is amazing. So
The countdown is really stressing me out.
it's a little
Well,
stressful.
you made it
Oh
through.
gosh.
No more stress. So the 5 minute AMA that goes on our social platforms like
Okay.
TikTok, Instagram, but we'll release the full episode on Spotify and YouTube. So we're gonna keep chatting.
Okay.
I know we didn't get through all of our questions. Rachel, was there anything else that you wanted to pick Jillian's brain about?
I think what was the best writing advice that you've ever received?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think for me, the best writing advice that I've ever received, and it's writing advice that I also give, um, is that there, there is no such thing as like an original story, if that makes sense. Like everything is pulled from archetypes and from other stories and inspired. So whenever someone says to me, like, well, I can't write that because someone else has written that, or like, well, I had an idea, but it's just like this, my biggest advice is always, yeah, but you haven't written it yet. And your life experience is so singular, and your voice is so singular and so important. And so and we do bring our life experience to our work. It's in, it is a representation of what we've, gone through, and everything like that. So like your voice is just as valid, and you deserve to take up just as much space. And I mean, like, Ruin is technically inspired by Hades and Persephone, and there are so many Hades and Persephone
Oh,
bugs out there, and we keep eating them up because everybody wants more. So don't be afraid to write what you want to write, and especially in the beginning, write the things that you're excited about, write the things that you're passionate about, and those kinds of things will help kind of move you through, and support you as you start your writing journey. That, and learn how to take criticism from trusted trusted people in your life that have your best interests at heart.
it's interesting because I also have an English degree, and it's not I don't use it because I like to read and I don't write well, so I appreciate you guys. But I remember my professor at one point saying, there are no new stories, they're just new ways
Mhm.
to tell them. And so hearing you say
Exactly.
that, and like how that actually applies, like people, that's true, and I think that's amazing.
Yes.
And it's not even
Yeah.
just in literature. I mean, look at one of the biggest rom-coms from the like early 2000s or 90s, 10 Things I Hate About You. That's just a reiteration of Taming the Shrew from William Shakespeare.
Yes.
Like it's
Hmm.
so many things draw inspiration from past works. It's just like making it your own. So I
Right.
love your take on that. That's a good take.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, so I did want to ask you a couple of character questions. Um,
Absolutely.
who do you identify most with in the world that you've built? Like, which character is most like you?
I would say in book one, it's probably Ren. Ren is in many ways, I identify a lot with his kind of, wow, this is going to be so sad and dark, but I identify a lot with his like kind of self-abhorrence of like, him struggling to really view himself as in a positive light. Um,
Relatable. I
and
get
and
that.
his journey, to that kind of more positive self-reflection. I relate with quite a bit. And then in the second book, I do identify more with Aurelia. In many ways, Aurelia's journey reflects a lot of my journey, but then also like reflects kind of what I wish my journey could have been if it was like socially acceptable to like, you know,
do that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so refreshing when an author puts like such a big part of themselves into their books. Like even if it's just a key piece of a personality or something from their journey. It's incredible that you all can take your life experiences and turn them into something into like this art form. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and I mean, to be perfectly transparent, I did also get a sensitivity reader who sensitivity read for both Touch Starvation and Touch Adversity, Touchaverse, and then also they sensitivity read for my non-binary characters and things like that. So I did have outside eyeballs as well to make sure
that's
that I did it justice. So
from your reader community to you, like I feel like I'm speaking on behalf of all of us. Thank you, because that's
oh,
so important. Like
yeah,
people, there are so many things that you can write and you don't realize that it could be offensive. And then
right.
like if you don't take the time to have someone else review that, it could end up badly. And I think it's just incredible that you took the time out of of your schedule to make sure, not took the time out, but carved time for that. So thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, it was very important to me. I really wanted to make sure that I did it justice and that especially with non-binary characters, just because that was my first time ever writing them, and now I do try to make a point to make my writing as inclusive as possible. So in all of my work, I try to make sure that there is some sort of representation there. So that was important to especially just learn how to write inclusively in a way that doesn't feel like you're checking a box, but that is
Yes.
a natural breathing part of the world. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you again. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. But
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so we have just a few minutes left. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up? Anything you wanted to talk about?
Oh gosh, I mean, Reckoning is out, so the Infernis Duology is complete. Um, I do have a Patreon where I upload new chapters every week of a vampire romance that I have written, and then along with that, you occasionally get bonus chapters from the Infernis Duology. You don't have to be a member to get the bonus chapters. They're also just like individual things that you can get. But yeah, and as I hope things are coming next. What they are, I can't really talk about, but I hope that other things will be coming next. I'm very lucky to be agented, and we're kind of starting that process of submissions with a new book with a sci-fi romance that I wrote that's inspired by the vibes of Andor. If you've seen Andor,
Ooh,
um,
yes.
very very inspired by that sort of grit, kind of like space gritty vibes. It's not like in any way like a fanfic or anything like that. It's literally just like I watched Andor and was like, I would love to write a book with that sort of like gritty feeling. So we're currently in the process of shopping that around. So we'll see if something comes of that between now and like 2030.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
love Andor. I love
it's a yes.
all of the Star Wars fandom. So, oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope
and
it
I'm
gets picked
still
up.
Yeah, and I'm still writing in the Raylo fandom. So I am currently uploading a fic right now called To Be Alone with You, and it's a tattooed motorcycle riding Ben Solo. And he is like an OnlyFans star, and his roommate Ray and him have tension, and it's like a roommates like friends to lovers sort of situation. So yeah, I'm still very active in the Raylo fandom. I'm like a much smaller writer in the Raylo fandom, which actually is kind of nice. So
Oh my gosh, that's like right up my alley. I love motorcycle stuff. I love, you know, spicy things too. So, yes.
Woo!
I know what I'm doing the rest of my Saturday. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 8 chapters out right now, and the 8th chapter is when we hit the spice. So we've gotten like the first kind of touch of spice. So people have been excited. So
Yes.
I'm excited. I haven't even touched it yet. So
Yay. Okay. Well, I do hope the one that you're working on that's more Andor, inspired will get picked up soon. And also, I did speak with your agent too. She's great.
You spoke with my agent?
I think it's your agent. Maybe it was your PA.
It's my publicist. I think you've been speaking to my publicist.
Whoever I talked to, she was great. So,
Oh,
just a
good.
shout out to her.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah, Taylor Page's PR.
Yes.
Yes, that's my publicist, and she's been
Yes.
excellent and just so amazing and so wonderful. I was like, how did you talk to my agent?
I lied. It was your publicist.
So Tanya's stalking you now, so
But no,
No, she
my
was great. Like she
Yeah.
helped us get you scheduled, and like she was amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, my
to
whole
her.
team is just wonderful from my publicist Taylor to my agent Jess. I'm represented by Jess Watterson at Sandra Driscoll Agency. So I share an agent with like Lila Sage and other people like that, and she's just incredible. So I feel very lucky to have such an incredible team around me.
Yes.
So, yeah.
great.
This is so good for your writing journey. I love it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great.
Congratulations on your new release. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I'm like scrolling through now, finding all the stuff I can for you. So exciting. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. It was so great to chat with y'all.
Yeah, we had a blast, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon when the next
Yeah.
book comes out. Wink, wink. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Waiting for that Andor fic. Well, Andor
Woo.
inspired.
Andor inspired
Yes.
sci-fi romance.
Yes. So we'll see you when that comes out.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you for joining us. It's been so fun.
Yes.
Thank
thanks,
you. Thanks for
Gillian.
having me, y'all.
Have a good
Have a good
day.
day.
You too. Bye.